The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Tonight from the Kentucky Speedway, it is United Sim Racing B and C Line Landscaping Truck Series here for tonight's 134 lap event here in this truck series. Tonight in the booth, I'm Austin Gary Weaver and Cisco Scarmuza. We just came from the bull ring. We're coming to Kentucky now, and a little bit different of a spectrum, going from a 4/10 mile oval to a 1.5 mile oval that is I'm lost on words. Basically, these guys come to these kind of tracks all the time. I hate the word cookie cutter, so I don't want to use it, but I'm using it. So one of the cookie cutter tracks that these guys are coming to, but a lot of these drivers have a lot of fun here, and we're gonna see if we get ourselves a new winner or a repeat winner here in this series tonight. Gary, first time having you along in this series, I think, and these guys, there's gonna be about, looks like a little over 30 of them will be joining us tonight.
Yeah, just about 30 drivers here, and only, I'm looking through, 19 have qualified. I believe one of them is still sitting on pit road. Yep, that is a 68 of Scott Smiley. He's just sitting on pit road. I don't believe he will be making a qualifying lap. So of course, we're just waiting for the qualifying to wrap up here before we get underway for 134 laps here at Kentucky.
And we're going to take a quick look at your point standings, because it's pretty dang important here as these guys are continuing to do qualifying here. JB Walker finds himself at the top of the leaderboard, 40 points in front of Aaron Bennett. And then you've got Justin Michael, who finds himself in third. Scott Simley, then Michael Atkins Jr. There in the top 5. Simley and Michael are actually tied for position. Then you've got Rich Jetty, Bobby Terrell, Seth DeMerchant, Scott Formosa, and Matt Mara. That's your top 10. And then you've got Christian Peterson and Chris Cabot. And that is the set field for the chase if the chase were to start today. It does not, and then so you have to look outside to see who's close. Tim Matthews just lost his spot last week. Robert Gilwater finds himself on the outside as well. And you've got a long list of other drivers who are close. Tommy Ryan, Joshua Banks, Greg Mall, who has only run 9 races this season. So really, a lot of drivers are really close to that cutoff line, and it's going to be a blast to see who makes it and who doesn't whenever we get to that point.
Yeah, we have good number of races up until then, including this one. There will be 6 races, and that last cutoff race is going to be Indianapolis, and that's about 5 weeks away as of now. And then we head into the chase, and it's all on from there. But from now, you have to get through Kentucky first, and it's definitely going to be really interesting. As now 20 drivers have qualified, and the rest have not. So we have about 10 drivers that didn't qualify, taking the if you will, a safe route, and just hoping that they can somehow get an advantage out of not qualifying.
There's always a good bit of drivers that will come to the race but not qualify. But there's also going to be a driver that I do not see in this field right now that might affect them in the long run. Christian Peterson does not appear to have does not appear to be here right now, and so if he is not racing tonight, it'll immediately strip him of having multiple consecutive races won, which right now is 4. Christian Peterson has 6 wins on the season and has won 4 of the last 4. which is a very impressive feat for him as he came into the season about 4 or 5 races late. So qualifying is done and away with. And Aaron Bennett in the number 3 machine. He will start from the pole and he'll try and capture his first win. It's kind of been one of those things where he's not been able to get the job done, but he's been so close so many times. And we will we'll witness whether he's able to get that done tonight or whether he'll be in the top 5 once again. So Aaron Bennett starts from the pole. Jamie Walker, who is outside, teammates on the front row. Then you've got Ralph Van der Vorsta starting in the 3rd position with James Nunn in 4th. Bobby Terrell starts 5th. John Jenkins will start from the 6th position on the outside row at number 3. Scott Morris starts from 7th. Brian Cutts 8th. Dustin Merchant will start from the 9th position. And then Bob Gillenwater. Oh, it looks like they changed his name, so he's no longer Robert Gillenwater. So I don't know what I'm supposed to call him. I'm so torn now. So he'll start from the 10th position.
Starting 11th, it's going to be Michael Atkins Jr. Justin Michael starting in 12th at number 87. 13th is going to be Matt Mara. 14th and 15th will be Joshua Banks and Tim Matthews, respectively. Chris Gabot is going to be 16th. 17th, Kyle Manger. 18th, going to be Dwayne Dunn. 19th and 20th are going to be Justin Kleiber, and I apologize if I mispronounced that. And then Lewis Robinette finished starting out in 20th, the last driver to take a qualifying time.
That simply begins that list of drivers who did not start or did not finish a qualifying lap, so he'll start 21st. Greg Mall, 22nd. Michael Priester will start from the 23rd position. Rich Jetty, as always. A lot of these guys, like you said, they didn't take times, but a lot of them always do this. Rich Jetty will start from 24th. 25th is going to be George Hendricks. Michael Warren starts from the 26th position. The 27th will start Jeff Ryan. Randy Aiken will start 28th, and then John Loco and Steve Herring will round out your 30-car field. So we'll take a look at some track facts here of the Kentucky Speedway. 1.5-mile oval is one that is on a little bit newer on the NASCAR circuit for the Cup Series, but it's definitely not that new of a speedway. It's been around for a while, and so we'll be happy to have this track as an addition to this series as well here with the United MVC Lawn Landscape and Truck Series.
Definitely going to be an interesting race, and like you pointed out earlier, Christian Pearson is not here, but both Chris Gibbo and Tim Matthews, they are both here, so maybe combined they will be pushing Christian Pearson down into the cutoff line under 12th place in points, and that may set him back, maybe not, as the pace car, I believe, yes they do. Ford Mustang GT pace car makes the hard left turn to pit road, and of course the green flag is out. Aaron Bennett on the throttle, the number 3, and we are underway for 134 laps here at Kentucky.
Great jump by Aaron Bennett here on the start, and we will be off and away for 134 laps, just like you said. So battle already starting here in the second position, or the 3rd position. That's going to be the 77 or 75 and 66 there. Looks like the number 14 Muscle Milk Chevrolet is going to be in the mix here, but James Nunn, haven't seen him up towards the front like this, I think, in a while. So already a great start to him on the night, and he'll start 3rd, of course, as we mentioned earlier, and already gets himself out into a little bit of a gap, and now the field starts to stay side by side here past him. So 4th on back where you want to be, and this is such a big, large track, but it's so flat. It looks a lot like Iowa in some ways, and I almost forget it's a 1.5-mile oval just because of how much flatter it is in those corners compared to a lot of tracks in turns number 1 and 2. But the 14 still on the inside. That's where you want to be right now in the early goings of this race. Not enough rubber's been laid down, so looks like there's a little bit of action in the middle of this pack here. Number 87, it's going to be Justin Michael. He's going to be looking, looks like the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. made an effort on the inside, but it was to no avail.
Maybe going 3 wide, maybe not. Oh, near contact, as all the way down to the bottom is going to be the 87, Justin Michael, and he may be sliding up. No, he actually does manage to make it stick, and they are 3 wide, actually. The 04, the 2, and the 36, that is. Unfortunately, I cannot tell, but through the trioval, the 2 and the 4 are very close together, and almost 4 wide at that point as well. But luckily, they do manage to stay off of each other. Still 3 wide, not anymore. Is now it's the 36 and the 2 side by side, and Well, the 2 clears of 36.57. Goodness, everyone is trying to figure out where to go and what their sweet spot is this early on, and we're almost 5 laps into this race.
Yeah, that was really crazy for these guys. They aren't usually like that at the beginning of a race like this, but they know how important the start and restarts are going to be tonight. You're seeing Seth Merchant try and split the middle of Robert Gilmwater and the 36 of Joshua Banks right there. And he's, right now, at least not going to be able to do it. And we know Christian Peterson's very capable of coming up through the field. But it looks like right now he's got to get around the 4 and the 36. And yeah, Robert Gilmwater and the 87, they had some contact. That's kind of what started all of that, that combobulation that happened. They got it sorted very well. And not that I'm surprised with these guys, but it was very close to being catastrophe there in turns 3 and 4, but they were able to get themselves out of harm's way. Peterson will look on the inside of the 36, but right now he will not be able to do it. But looking at towards the front, 66 of Ralph van der Vorst, he looks like he's out to dry as the number looks at Scott Formosa. I know him by his car, but not by his number. So the number 80's on the bottom, Formosa's on the inside, and the 91 of John Jenkins. We talked about him last week, kind of coming into the picture, and right now he's trying to get himself into a top 5 right here. 91 machine doing some good speed last few weeks, and is looking to make and break into that top 12 in points as well.
He's doing a good job right now, battling for 6 with that inside position, and just in front of them is going to be the 14 and the 75 battling side by side as they have been for about the past 2 or so laps. That 14 of Bobby Terrell trying to get some type of advantage, but James Nunn, that 75, getting that middle line working, that second groove I should say. That seems to be the preferred lane so far. 3 wide behind them, 87, 66, and 91. Just all 3 of them we were talking about a few moments ago, and on the bright side, this could be a lot. This track could be a lot more narrow, and things could be a lot worse. But the 66 of Ralph van der Vorst, he does seem to be actually playing a little bit of a strategy. He went a little wide in turns 1 and 2, so fortunately for him, that may be strategy, and he's just backing off, making sure everything is going his way at least, or he doesn't want to get caught up in any unfortunate accidents. Michael Atkins Jr., the number 2, that DuPont Toyota, sorry, that Pepsi Toyota, making a bit of a run, currently in 9th. He's looking to the inside of the 66 into turns 1 and 2.
It does have the look of a Jeff Gordon paint scheme, so I cannot blame you there in any sort of way. As it has the, yeah, it looks really similar.
I was thinking of the 5 earlier, so
yeah, and he has the, and that's actually a Terry Labonte paint scheme, so don't get those mixed up. Oh, we got some really close action between DeMerchant and the 20 and the 36 of Banks right there. They were basically touching in the middle of the corner, and looks like maybe DeMerchant leaned on him maybe a tiny bit to get to the corner, and you can tell that 36 may not have been too happy about it for as close as he's racing him, and as hard as he's racing him, he's trying to get that position back immediately. Dives down to the bottom, he'll slide right in front of him, and then the crossover move by DeMerchant is definitely going to happen on the back straightaway. Or not, but DeMerchant actually does not get the speed to get him, so the 36 is actually able to defend his position by hard charging it down in 1 and 2, so looks like 36 didn't like the way it was raced and just races harder to get it back. I kind of like that that approach to it, and maybe that's not the case at all. Maybe he's just wants that position back in a decisive manner, so looking forward, but in front of them, looks like the battle for that's going to be 3rd position, starting to get, or 4th position. James Nunn and looks like the 75 and the 80 of Scott Formosa is getting pretty close. And look at the 87 going to the very bottom of the track. He's on an absolute roll right now. That's the 87. Oh, maybe not. He's going to back out of that one. And so
I thought they were going to make contact there. Goodness, that was going to be disastrous if that happened.
Yeah, Justin Michael knows when to get out of a bad situation like that, but it was almost too bad. So able to get out of it. He'll have to let those cut tires cool down because he absolutely got them wasted right there. But look towards the very front of the field, because that wasn't where the front of the field was. We're looking at Aaron Bennett and Jamie Walker. They are battling for the lead, 2.5 seconds in front of everyone else in this field. And those guys are teammates, so it's really fun to watch these guys as they're pulling away, probably talking in team communication to each other and discussing what line's working, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're being silent and trying to actually get the lead away from one another. And Bennett has led every single lap at this point, I believe. he's kind of just been there the whole time, but he's been catching him a little bit by little each time. I think they know his teammates that the 88 might have the speed, but right now passing is going to slow them down quite a tremendous amount. And Bobby Terrell, who's been having some really good races lately, he did not have a great start to the beginning of the season, finds him in third, and basically no man's land. We got a car around front straight away. And that's going to be, I think that was actually the 0-4, and that he just got turned around. So I'm gonna have to take a look at that. But that actually, that could have been much worse. But yeah, that comes right in the tri-oval. Looks like it came across the nose of the 39 of James Nunn. We'll get a replay of what happened.
Yeah, it looks like actually that was Dwayne Dunn. You were close. Yeah, Dwayne Dunn was looking to the inside, got on the back, at the L4 protected, and then just got into the core panel and spun him around. But thankfully, he does keep it off the wall and nearly misses that exit cone. But luckily, no major damage, and that could have been, like you said, a lot worse than it already was.
So we will have a first caution of the night in the series, and quite frankly, it was not one to be, not one that I would have normally expected to cause a caution. Those guys were just having some, in my opinion, some really hard-fought racing. But I have a feeling this will. This was not what Bennett and Walker wanted to see. They were 2.5 seconds ahead of everyone else, and for them, it's a shame. For everyone else, it's the best present they will ever have, because long green flag runs are what Aaron Bennett and a few other drivers are very, very good at. So you're going to see the 30 shade to come down pit road, and I have a feeling we're going to see every single truck come down pit road. So that's the case we're seeing, and 15's looking to...
Sorry, almost had some contact in the back, but luckily everyone does manage to stay off of each other.
Every single truck comes down, not a single one of them. Actually, there is one truck that is going to stay out. That's going to be Lewis Robinette. So he will come down, but all these drivers are going to come down and get service, and we talked about it a few weeks ago. These guys have to get in their pit stalls just right. They can't make any mistakes because the pit box are a little bit more difficult now than they used to be. The 75 of James Nunn was not quite yet in his pit box, and he finally gets the right side up. So that might be bad for him. But for those leaders, they are really hoping they get good pit stops here, and maybe the 75 took right sides only, but bad pit stop for the 3. Great pit stop for everyone. Who made out pit road first? It looks like the 88 of Jamie Walker will. With Bobby Terrell, he will be second. Oh, third off pit road. James Nunn, despite having those pit road issues, he'll come off second, but I have a feeling he only took 2 tires.
Definitely a close battle off pit road. There was the 88, we're trying to look, the 88, the 75, and then Bobby Terrell in the 14. So really close off of pit road, but the 88 of Jamie Walker is now in the lead. If you can't beat him on pit road, or sorry, if you can't beat him on track, then you can beat him in pit road. That's what I meant to say, is Lewis Robinette is no doubt going into pit road this time by... now he's actually going to stay out. This is an interesting strategy that Lewis has.
He's going to stay out there, so he's going to be the odd man out. And I think for him, it will be good for track position, although I'll say 15 lap tires. Sometimes you think, oh, that's not many laps, but that's 30 corners and some hard left-hand turns. We already have the pace car lights off, so Lewis Robinette will go from 20th on the starting grid to first here right now. These guys have to be careful here, because not only do they have the 30 to deal with that has the possibility of wheel spin here, and the fact that he'll be slower just in general, but the 75 will also only have right sides. He's the only driver to have 2 tires on this machine. Good thing for them, they're both on the bottom, and they can pass him on the outside here on this restart. That's pretty much the one good thing about this. And I think these guys, as aware as they are on a week-to-week basis, they will be able to navigate around these guys just fine. So as they get to turn number 3, Lewis Robinette, he leads a couple laps. He'll get some laps led in the back of his pocket. Number 88 of Jamie Walker will look to prowl here quickly on this restart. Anyone behind these guys on the inside will have to communicate and know when to go and to pass them on the outside. Otherwise, this will be disastrous. So as they come out of turn number 3, or turn number 4, pace car comes down. Lewis Robinette, he will start and get on the loud pedal fairly early, and number 88 will slide right in. These guys don't get too bad of a restart, actually.
He caught the grass.
I don't know what he did. Yeah, he's going to slow down completely. So Lewis Robinette gives it the lead completely. And so he's going to give that up at will. So they'll look up back up front. Now the 75 of James Nunn's going to try and hold on to position. And he's going to lose spots quickly, I feel, as the number 80 is going to try and pass him on the outside here. And he'll probably get the job done out of turn number 4. And Giants will come in a hurry, but not quite yet. He's keeping them at bay right now as they go 2 by 2 behind him.
Scott Formosa and Aaron Bennett battling side by side. Bennett on the bottom in that number 3, Formosa in the 80 on top, and I believe, I'm not sure, but I think Lewis, maybe that was strategy for him. Maybe he was trying to figure out, oh, if I can do this, then maybe this will work out for later in the race. So maybe a little bit of strategy, maybe not, but the A7 of Justin Michael is between 2 by 2 battles right now, and a little bit behind the 2 and the 91. We also have the 57 and the 36 battling side by side. So a lot of side-by-side battles going on, but nonetheless, as well, Aaron Bennett almost, I believe he almost managed to clear Formosa, but nothing as of yet, and he's actually going to lose some momentum coming out of turn number 2. Formosa gets that 4th place position for now, and he clears him actually, so looks like the second group to the middle lane is the preferred line here, and that's definitely going to be rubbered up if everyone starts using that, and single file once again for the most part, unless you're watching that battle for that 9th place position. The 57 and 36 are still side by side, and ooh, a little bit of contact, I believe.
I've been watching this battle since the restart, and I have to go back to what their issue earlier with them getting into contact, and you can see the wiggle by the 57 right there. These guys, I think, are really going at it more than it looks right now, as it starts to get a little chaotic kind of in front of them. As you see,
yeah, there's contact into the 36, into the wall.
Oh, he's in the wall. Yeah, that's an internet problem for him. Or wide on the inside, but yeah, he had some major internet problems right there, and that's going to slide him right to the outside wall. So I think that was kind of the problem to begin with, and so the Merchant, he'll have a rough night ahead of him if he does not get that fixed, and so he'll drop all the way past 17th place. And definitely not one that should have been a lot worse, but his internet kind of saved him and the number 36 of that was Banks, I think. Yeah. Yep. So he'll get single file. Everyone in front of him single file now, except for the 75 of James Nunn, who's now getting passed by the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr.
Yep, heading into turn number 1, advantage Atkins, and he will be clearing the 75 coming out of turn number 2, and well, here comes the 91 of John Jenkins. He's going to have something to say about this. Coming down to the inside, does manage to make it down there. And of course the 36 will be following Joshua Banks right there on the back bumper. Luckily in just a following type of way. Maybe going to make it 3 wide. Yep, he's looking to the inside, down under the yellow line, which is legal. But nothing as of yet. He does manage to stay beside the 75 though and pass him. And now gets beside the 91. Of Jenkins into turns 1 and 2, and unfortunately for James Nunn, he's getting shuffled back right now on the outside.
Battle for the lead starting to heat up here as Bobby Terrell is hunting down the 88 of Jamie Walker. He has had faster times than him the last couple laps, and with the draft helping him out just a little bit, you can see the 88 going to the very bottom. They break it up just a little bit. Bobby Terrell is right there. And they almost ran identical laps right there, so still could be either one of their any one of their races. But we've seen 2-car breakaways the last 2 restarts, but this one's not as large as the last one. 25 laps into this race already, as these laps have actually flown by pretty quickly. Only 15 minutes into this race and 25 laps into it, so. And it looks like Bobby gets a little tight off the corner, but the battle for third here. Here comes the number 3 on the bottom. We know he's a fast tiger here in this series, and he's our pole sitter as well. He's going to try and swing by the 80 and try and go get down, try and go hunt down his teammate there, number 88 machine. And the 87 is going to try and come along with as well. 80 of Scott Formosa feels like he's getting ganged up on and doesn't have the ability to come back down to the bottom. Yeah, he's right there on the inside right there. Oh, you're talking about the lead.
Yeah, and unfortunately nothing as of yet. He did look to the inside. He did get there, but he just didn't have the momentum.
So with that attempted pass, you can see the repercussions of what will happen if you don't have enough drive off to do it. So he'll go from 1/10 behind to 2/10. Looks like we got some.
Oh wait a minute, yeah, Rich Jetty is in the wall. 93 actually did blow an engine coming into turns number 1, 2. He actually spun on the front straightaway, made contact with Dwayne Dunn. Dwayne Dunn was moving up in hard contact to the outside was the number 93, and somehow he spun around, but there was no caution. I believe it was, yeah, it was because it was at the end of the field. There was no harm for the leaders, and unfortunately for Rich, I believe that's his race over. Yeah, his engine is done.
And that's really unfortunate for him because he was, I do believe he's still in the top 12 in points, and he's one of those drivers that comes from the back to the front, or at least attempts to. Tonight's not going to be one of those nights, and it's going to be a hard night for him to deal with because of the points implications it has. So Aaron Bennett third, behind the two guys that are going to fight for the lead once again, which is Bobby Terrell and Jamie Walker. Bobby Terrell's faster. I don't know if that's because of the lead or because of the draft or not, but he's been there just like 3 was whenever Jamie was behind him. So battle for the lead's kind of been close this entire time, but going out and getting the pass done, I don't see it happening until later on in the race, just because the track hasn't matured yet into that track that can be racy in multiple lines, which I do see happening later on as they start to get past lap number 30 here. And looking through the field, looking for any battles, you're going to find them with James Nunn on the outside of the 04, who spun earlier. That was Brian Cutts who had that issue, got spun out by Dwayne Dunn, not James Nunn. And he's going to be on the inside, and a little bit of redemption for the number 04. He got spun out, but I think he was able to keep his position when that happened. Basically get a free caution for his tires. So he's going to get the job done. Robert Gillenwater, he's going to be inside of the 75, and James Nunn really doesn't want to give these positions up, and you got to feel bad for him because he made a audible on his pit stop to do this because, you know, we're going to go 3 wide here. Yeah, he's going to be the very outside of this, and I don't think Robert Gillenwater got the launch off the corner, and the 68 is going to take advantage of it. That's going to be Scott Simley, defending series champion, on the very bottom of the track, and he's in a very prime position to take advantage of this, but he's going to have to really get a good haul off the corner, and he's going to be able to do it. Robert Gillenwater, the big loser right there, and look at the 25. That's going to be Kyle Manger, who this is his 2nd race of the season. Really only here for bragging rights at this point. Now, I don't think he'll have a mathematical way to get in unless he wins every single race and has a little bit of luck. So Manger just out here to have fun and doing the case. Started from 17th, 15th. Solid night for him.
Yeah, he's having a good run so far, and looking at the battle for the lead, I'm going to look back up, and looks like, well, Bobby Terrell, during that battle, Bobby Terrell's actually managed to get that pass done. So now the positions are swapped as Bobby Terrell, and then it's Jamie Walker. That pass was actually done coming out of turn number 4. With the help of the draft, Bobby Terrell made the huge dive down to the bottom, and then it manages to get that pass complete in turn 1. So then again, Jamie Walker was on the outside, but again, may have been strategy, and maybe just trying to figure out what can happen. Maybe Jamie's trying to figure out what can happen with his car in the draft. And Aaron Bennett also, he looks like he may be getting into this battle just in a few laps. It may be taking a while, but for now, Bobby Terrell is definitely in the lead. And while I'm looking at Jamie Walker, he's looking to the high side and nothing as of yet.
The one thing I see the 14 able to do just a little bit better is corner off is I think better than anyone in the field right now, and hence why he's in the lead. I think maybe Aaron Bennett rivals him the best. The 88, his corner exit is lacking, and I think that's where the 14 was able to get him. I don't think the draft was necessarily the reason why he was able to get up to him so quickly. So the 14 right now has the lead, and he'll start logging some laps under his belt and start getting some laps led. And I'll tell you what, Bobby Terrell, it's been a while since he's been to victory lane too, and I've seen him run a lot of races in this series, and it'll be really cool to see him. He's gotten really close this season. He's got 2nd place, I think, twice now. Very, very close. Like Aaron Bennett, those are 2 drivers that you'd love to see go to victory lane because they haven't done it in so long. But there's also a lot of drivers that bear back in the pack that haven't even been close to it, that'd love to be in that top 5 scenario. And those are drivers like Joshua Jenkins. He's been close. I think he's had a couple top 5s this season. Would love to be closer to that picture as well. So they're starting to get spread out, and I think Bobby Terrell's got something figured out because he's not pulling away from the 88, but I don't think he's letting him come back into the picture so quickly, at least at the time being. And while we got the chance, Gary, these guys have a limited fuel cell. So they're basically only going to go about 30 or 40 laps here in a fuel run. And so that will be in the looming distance. So that is something to think about when we get longer into these green flag runs.
Yeah, the caution came out about lap 15, or the green flag. Yeah, caution came out about lap 15, so I'd say about from lap 20 or lap 19 or so up until now, they've been about 20 laps on fuel and tires. And on the bright side for Bobby Terrell, he is 7th in points, but of course, like you said, pit strategies definitely have to make a play into this, because no doubt you're definitely got to change pretty much all your tires, maybe your right side tires. That's just a decision that you have to make in pit road, as Aaron Bennett is actually making his way closer and closer to that top 2. As of now, he's about a second 45, so about 1.4 seconds off of Jamie Walker right now. And of course, Jamie Walker is actually starting to get left behind by Bobby Terrell, so maybe Bobby Terrell has found something that Jamie Walker has not yet. Like you said, that corner exit, that could be a factor. And of course, maybe tires could also be another factor into this. And fuel is definitely going to be the major factor, though, as when you're pitting, you just have to figure out how many laps you have left of fuel during your run and integrate that into all your other runs and try and figure out how many laps you need when it comes down to that final pit stop, and when you have to pit for that final pit stop, as well as looking through the field. 25 and 75 battling Kyle Menger on the bottom, that number 25, and kind of looks like, well, that really doesn't look like Jeff Gordon's car. The number does. That's what it reminds me of, though. James Nunn stuck on the outside in that 75, and of course, he's still, unfortunately, James is on the bright side hanging on. He's actually going to get that advantage coming down into turn number 3, and of course, right behind, this is just an entire pack of people trying to figure out what to do and what line works best for them.
35 on the outside, 25 down to the bottom, and Manger's kind of just been sitting solid, but he's actually got a few positions under his belt, and he's going to try and slide right up and get the best entry he can. And Ralph Van der Vorst right there, he in that 15th position, trying to get back into the picture. And for starting third, it's really hard to swallow. But the 75 started from a very similar position. He started from 4th, and with what happened on pit road, you would either have to decide to take the 4 tires and start from the back and roll forward, or take 2 tires and roll backwards. That was really close. We're going to go 3 wide here with these guys. 66 on the bottom, and 22 of Matt Mara. I haven't talked about him all day. He's making a crack at it, trying to get an advantage here, and it's not going to work out. He's going to kind of slide up the track a little, and there's going to be, that looks like that's Michael Priester on the bottom, 3 wide here. Michael Priester trying to get something working on the very bottom of the track. 22 of Matt Marlowe was not able to slide through as quickly as he thought. Still in the middle. They're just been going 3 wide for almost a full lap here. It's going to be pretty close here. 75 with the old tires. If he had new tires, I have a feeling he'd have more advantage here, but still 3 wide, and it looks like the 64 Preacher's going to be able to get the advantage, but not quite yet. Still 3 wide. This is impressive here for these guys. Still 3 wide, and they're all doing a heck of a job, despite it being just inside and just outside the top 5, top 15. They're making a really cool show to watch here. I'm not taking my eyes off this, because they're still 3 wide, 1.5 laps later. And they keep going. 75. Like I said, I think the 75, if he had better tires, he'd be a little bit faster and be able to get the momentum off the corner. But Michael Priester, just the bottom is not the place to be unless you do what he just did and just dive it anyways and not care about the tires. So Priester's able to get the job done, and he'll get the position. So now they're only 2 by 2. That was really fun to watch. Almost 2 complete laps, 3 wide right there.
That is definitely performance right there at its best. And behind them, the 5 of Chris Gibbo and Gibbo and Bob Gilmore, they've been battling behind that, but that was only the first lap of that 3 wide battle that we saw. That was really, really entertaining. That was something that I have not seen before. And everyone now single file, unless you're the number 10 of Jeff Ryan there. In that case, you're passing the 34 right now for that 20th position. And swamp positions can make up big things, but it's going to take a while for Jeff, if he does have a good enough run, to get anywhere close. And he's actually going to dive down, and the 4 nearly making contact with a 5. Goodness, that would have been, again, disastrous. That's, I believe, the second time that we saw near contact between 2 jumpers. And I believe Dillonwall actually did manage just a small scrape out of turn number 4 into the outside wall. I'm not sure. He doesn't look like it's affected him much, but from now, his paint does appear to be solid and clean. So lucky for him that hasn't really been too bad as that crossover happens coming out of turn number 2, and there's just a lot of battles going on here in the back, and I believe the only battle on the actual track as we have some pit stops right now. Yeah, Tommy Ryan, Bobby Terrell, sorry.
A lot of drivers coming down. Leaders included Bobby Terrell and Jamie Walker, and Jamie Walker closed up that lead down pit road. So here's where they're going to start. So 45, lap 46 is what we're on now for these guys. So basically, from when we had the caution, you could say 30 or so laps. But Scott Formosa goes through his pit boxes a little bit. I think everyone else was just fine coming down. Gonna have to keep monitoring this as it goes. 75 comes in straight away, knows that this is his best call. He's gonna get the right sides and left sides up. Bobby Terrell clearly will win the battle on pit road, but he will not be the first to come down pit road. But it looks like no one else is coming down this time by, so definitely some difference in strategies between drivers. Some drivers gonna try and make it the long haul on fuel. Some drivers gonna try and make the long haul on tires. Or sorry, that's the same thing. Some guys trying to make it the short haul on tires. These guys are coming out right in front of oncoming traffic. Well, fast traffic, that is, not oncoming traffic, but these guys are going to be mixing it up with slow and fast drivers. Justin Michael, that is, he almost ran into Chris Cabot, who's coming down pit road, so really close and really eager for these guys to come down to get the service. So Chris Cabot, Matt Mara, Michael Priester, and Kyle Manger, they're now down pit road.
You gotta be careful making your way into your pit stall and of course pit row. I'm watching Chris Cabot right now, number 5. There's the DuPont I was looking for, and slides into his pit stall and manages to make it just fine. That 25 Kyle Manger getting 4 tires by the looks of it. Left side's up. And of course, I believe the number 5, yes, he's also getting 4 tires as number 25 is down and away. So is the 64, 22 as well. And Chris is now down and away. And not yet is, well, Aaron Bennett and Michael Atkins Jr. and I believe Joshua Banks all have yet to make their way down pit road.
You got to remember that Aaron Bennett is a guy who likes the longer runs, and he's actually going to dive down pit road this time. Pit road entry is a really important thing here at any track, especially when you're on a green flag run. So these guys have to make it perfect, and so he's the only guy to come down this time. And if you're a guy that's and you know that you're the only one coming down pit road, that's probably one of the best feelings in the world, knowing that you don't have anyone else on pit road to deal with. So that's probably pretty happy for him to do. And so your top 5 now is Atkins Jr., Banks, Bennett. Actually, that won't stand. And then Greg Mall, George Hendricks, and Steve Herring. So looking at these guys, trying to do the long run, trying to see if they can get an advantage on tires later on in the race, or maybe even completely cut out a pit stop. That is what a lot of these guys try and do here in the long run of things. So hitting lap number 50 here, 51 I should say, and looks at the 14 and the 88 right now doing battle for that would carry the provisional lead. 88 is getting closer here. Yeah,
these two have been battling ever since they exited pit road, pretty much, well, actually ever since they met on track, and that carried down the pit road, and now it's carried to back on track for this 10th place position, actually 9th place position I should say, as Steve Herring is in pit road, so is Justin, I believe, Clever. And of course, still in front, actually not anymore, Joshua Banks, I believe, is in pit road right now. So Greg Mall in front, John Wilco to pit road, number 62. But Bobby Terrell still in front of the 88 nonetheless, and that's definitely going to carry over to the actual lead. 88 looking a little bit lower, but still doesn't have that good corner exit yet.
Yeah, Greg Mall takes over the lead, and he's going to be one of the only drivers out there to still be on that strategy. You're going to look at all these drivers 3 wide behind him. All these drivers on different strategies. Greg Mall comes down, but they're still fighting for position right here. And 22 is going to try and make it 3 wide. And the very outside, 25 is going to give him the room just barely. And wow, that was close by all of them. They got to keep it straight. And it's pretty amazing to think that they've only had 1 caution due to, and I would say a fluke of a spin by the 04. I think it was a miscommunication by the drivers, but to go this long on a green flag run is actually quite normal for this series. I don't know if you monitored the series much, Gary, but these guys, this is normal for them. They're here to play just about every week on a long green flag strategy to come down and get tires and fuel multiple times during green flag runs.
I can see that happening because, oh my goodness, this is amazing racing. And still, on the bright side for Jamie Walker, he is right on the back bumper of Bobby Terrell right now. And he's going to, no, he was looking to the inside, but Bobby Terrell protecting that second place position, and which is now going to be that first place position. So these top two, we are back to where we were before green flag pit stops, but a little bit of a closer distance and a little bit of traffic, if you will. Some, I'd say, how should I put this, battle enhancers maybe, because it'll definitely enhance the battle between this lead. So unless you're Michael Warren, then in that case you're going to be on the high side, and Walker was still looking at that inside, can't get it to stick there. And behind them, Dwayne Dunn in the 39 position, number 27. So they don't have to worry about anybody because Scott Formosa is about 1.2 seconds back, entering turn 1 right now, versus Bobby Terrell. So they're about half a corner's width of space apart. Jamie Walker going to be getting that draft, and I've been saying both these guys' names so much I don't even know who's who anymore, but nonetheless, this top two battle still continues on.
We've had a long night. We've already done an hour, and I'd say now about an hour and a half of racing, but here comes the inside. He's not shading it. He's actually going for it this time, and perhaps Jamie has the truck to make it happen now that he's got new tires. Terrell is going to have the outside. I'd say Terrell's had a huge advantage because the rubber on the bottom's probably not helping out it as much, but he's able to really push that inside. He's not completely clear yet, and Terrell and Walker will go side by side, but Walker will get the position clear. 14's going to have to either settle in, which that's exactly what he does, and try and come back later for it. So exchange the lead back to the 88 of Jamie Walker. Remember, he started in the second position, and so he's back to the lead. And driver who started first, well, he's in third. He's almost 5 seconds behind, so he had a 1.5 second lead before pit stops happened, and now that's a lot larger. And those are the things that we love to see, but the drivers hate to see because they had that lead closing in every single lap. He was closing in just little by little, but now it's basically a race for these two for the lead. And then you've got many other positions that are up for grabs. You got him and Scott Formosa. Formosa's having a great race today, and we've seen him have some ups and downs throughout the season. This is a big up if he can continue on that ride. Scott Simley's having a good race right now. John Jenkins is basically where he started. Then you've got Michael Atkins Jr. Spread out. These guys are pretty spread out now just because of the nature of green flag runs. And there's not really any side-by-side battles. Truthfully, your best battles for the lead. And maybe for Seth the Merchant and Ralph Vander Borsta here in 18th and 19th. And here comes the number 10 of Jeff Ryan to try and spoil all that. But yeah, that's actually a good battle here inside the top 20. 10 to the bottom.
Yeah, and Jeff Ryan getting that position as best they can. If he can't get a good win, at least get as much positions as you can, as many positions as you can, I should say. And of course, he will be cleared for that 18th place position. I believe he actually passed 2 cars at once, so props to him because he has a lot less to worry about. But you did mention Scott Simley, that he started 21st, and that's 15 positions up from where he started right now. And luckily for him, well, he's running pretty good right now. No major pressure out back, unless you're John Atkins. Then in that case, you have a little bit of pressure, but nothing to really worry about. Lap times, okay, well, maybe you do have something to worry about because John is about 1/10 of a second faster than Simley, so yeah, something to worry about. But on the bright side, Scott Simley is still pulling off an amazing job, and hopefully he can get something a little bit better. Looking through the field, like you said, basically single file. Except from the 57 and the 66, they end their battle coming out of turn number 2. And heading to turn 3, Seth the Merchant looking to the bottom, and no momentum or advantage. So back to the lead, which I believe is your closest battle on this track right now. And I was about to say maybe the third was actually still there. The 3 was actually still there of Aaron Bennett, but no, like you said, he's got a lot to make up.
But his lead is actually getting closer, and I forgot that he actually had pit a lot later. So it makes sense that he is definitely catching him. About 2/10 a lap right now. So the last time we talked about him, he was about 5 seconds off. Now he's about 3.7. If at any moment these guys go side by side again, he's going to really catch him again. And the 14's kind of shading that inside just a little bit. And Right now, I'm seeing that Jamie Walker has a short run truck, Bobby Terrell has a short run truck, and that's pretty. I don't normally say that. Typically, Jamie Walker has a long run truck, so really fun to see that Jamie is kind of playing the role reversal in this one, to have a maybe shorter style truck in this one, but different track than what we normally see him at the top here. So Jamie Walker really is a staple in this series, and so is Bobby Terrell. They've been around since I've been covering this series for about a year now, year and a half now. But Jamie, Bobby, I haven't seen them do battle a whole lot over the time I've been here. It's really fun to see these guys, league veterans, back up to the front, getting it done.
Yeah, the amazing battle. Seth the Merchant actually exiting pit road right now. Maybe a scheduled pit stop, maybe something that maybe he knows something that we don't know, but that's his third pit stop as compared to pretty much everyone else's second pit stop. And I don't doubt that the halfway point is coming up, but I don't doubt that the 14 and the 88 will be going side by side again. That's definitely going to be happening, as once again Bobby Terrell looking to the inside, and still nothing yet, as lap 67 is going to be our halfway point, and we're definitely closing in on that.
And the Merchant is not only 1 lap down, he's now 2 laps down. So I think he's throwing a Hail Mary, hoping that this plan of some sorts is able to work out for him, because he's going to get his lap back here, knowing the way he drives and new tires. He's going to get his way around these guys. There's no doubt about it. And he's one of the fastest guys in this series. He's no stranger to any LSRTV leagues, as we saw him race yesterday in the Super Speedway Cup Series. But he is newer. Him and Christian Peterson are newer in this series. But look at what this has done. This has really thrown the 14 for a loop. And this has put him a lot slower than I think you'd expect. But this is also making the 88 slower here out of the corner. So kind of handicapped them both for a little bit of time. And the 14 is going to try and take advantage of it. But at the time being, it does not help the 14 enough to get by him, at least right now. So they will cross lap 67 here, I think, tonight. At this point in the race, it'll be a good time to take a look at your midway race break, presented by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation. iRacing has been developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. And in the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, Global Rallycross, and many, many more. So we'll take a look at your full field rundown as they stand currently on lap 68. Jamie Walker and Bobby Terrell still doing battle first and second. Aaron Bennett 2.2 seconds behind. He is absolutely catching them. Scott Formosa still finds himself in fourth, with Justin Michael fifth. Sixth place finds John Jenkins. Seventh is Michael Atkins Jr. Scott Simley is in eighth. Joshua Banks finds himself in ninth, and then Tim Matthews is in 10th.
Kyle Menger 11th. Brian Cutts is going to be 11th and 12th as the lead changes. Maybe, maybe not. 13th is going to be Michael Priester. 14th, Matt Mara. Chris Gibbo is going to be in 15th as the lead does change. Bobby Terrell once again in the lead. Bob Youngwater 16th. 17th is James Nunn, and that number 75. Greg Mall, Randy Oakham, and Jeff Ryan round out that top 20 as they're all battling right now. And of course, the rest of the field, 2 drivers out. 21st is going to be George Hendricks. 22nd, Ralph Vander Vorsta. Justin Kleber is going to be 23rd. 24th, Steve Herring. 25th is going to be Dwayne Dunn.
And the last few drivers that are out of this one are lap down. Michael Warren, John Wilco, and Seth the Merchant. They're all one lap down. Seth the Merchant just got his lap back just not too long ago. Rich Jetty and Lewis Robinette, they found themselves exiting the track early tonight. And so that's been a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, you can visit iRacing.com to sign up today. And thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership, and you can use the code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your career on iRacing with 3 months for only $5. That's promo code PR-GRC, and that's for new members only. So while Bobby Terrell starts to lead over Jamie Walker, We will take a step aside while these guys continue to do battle. We'll probably have pit stops when they come back, and you'll have to wait to see how this one ends. Will it be Bobby Terrell, Jamie Walker, or someone else? You've been watching LSRTV's coverage of the BNC Long Line Scheme Truck Series here at Kentucky.
I actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kitzer, Casey Kane, and Garrett Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
Welcome back to LSRTV as Bobby Terrell has spun coming down pit road, and a shame for him as he was looking to be one of the trucks to beat here. Unsure of why it happened. It looks like he shifted and locked up the tires and was able to get going pretty good. He probably lost 10 or so seconds though, so it's a big hit for him as pit stops have started. Jamie Walker's already been down. Bobby Terrell may get a penalty of some sort. I'm not sure about that, but what a hit for him, and really unfortunate. Replay coming up and showing you exactly what happened. He looked like he was good, and he shifted and looked like the rear tires just started to shake.
Yeah, that's something that you didn't want to do, but it's that banking change right there, and unfortunately that's going to be something that he has to make up. Pit road speed is 50 miles an hour, so luckily he was actually just barely below that, so hopefully he doesn't get a penalty. He's back out on track as of now, and definitely something that, it's really unfortunate for him. Joshua Banks, I'm trying to look for the 88 right now. Jamie Walker's in 12th as of now, and Bobby Terrell 14th, so In terms of position, not that much of a difference, but in timing, that's going to be a huge hit as Michael Atkins Jr. and the Pepsi Chevrolet, I believe that is Pepsi Toyota. That's been throwing me for a loop. Is currently in the lead right now. Second place is going to be Joshua Banks, and looking back at third place is going to be Brian Cutts.
And this mix-up of drivers is going to eventually file itself out. We will at least have one more pit stop before this one is over, but finding who was trying to make it the long haul, I don't think any of these drivers are really going to be able to do that. So for those drivers doing the long, excuse me, I had a couple hiccups there. For those drivers trying to do the long runs, I think it's really good for them to try and do that. I have a feeling they're going to need to cut those things down just a little bit, cut this run in half, because they've got about 55 laps, and they've been running a little over 30. So if you cut that 55 in half, it's more like 20, 26, 27 laps that you should probably come in before your last pit stop. So if I was a crew chief on these guys' box, I'd be telling them, hey, this is what I think we should do. We should really strategize this plan. I know a lot of these guys like to run it until it's empty, but with the way this race is going right now, I think it's going to be running really close on some of these guys that are doing the short run. I don't know if they'll make it on fuel. These guys in the long run, they're going to make it on one stop.
Yeah, it's again all down to pit strategy. And I'm looking at JRT. Most of these guys actually on 3 pit stops. The only drivers that are on 2 pit stops are your top 4 by the looks of this. Michael Atkins Jr., Joshua Banks, Steve Herring, and Justin Kleiber. So those 4 have yet to pit by, well, going by that at least. And maybe Michael Atkins coming to pit road. Nope, not yet. Nothing for Josh Banks. And of course, 4th place. While I'm looking around, I honestly don't see him yet. Maybe he must have missed him. Steve Herring, though, in 3rd place. He is going down the back straight lane in 98. I believe the 04 has also just left pit road, so he's back out on track. And no moves yet to pit road for any of your top 4.
You know, it is interesting to think about this in particular, but I don't think what I was thinking of is going to happen, because Michael Atkins Jr. is coming down this time around. I was thinking they were able to stretch it a little bit longer. They might be able to make it to the end, but even that's pretty unfeasible. So Michael Atkins goes down. Joshua Banks is going to stay out, though, so the 36 will lead some laps here. And we saw had the issues with Seth the Merchant earlier, but he now is actually able to kind of spread his wings and do what he wants to do, and he's going to be one of the last drivers to be out there and truly be on the strategy that he's on. But not shading to come down pit road anytime soon. Driver behind him, that looks like John Wilco. He'll come down pit road. Already 1 lap down. He'll probably make him multiple laps down at this point. So literally waiting for Joshua Banks to come down pit road. Michael Atkins already came down pit road. And Jamie Walker will be the presumed leader when all of these pit road shenanigans start to file themselves out. And he's got himself a pretty sizable lead over, it would look like, Aaron Bennett, who finds himself in 4th right now 3rd. And he's 5 seconds once again behind Jamie Walker.
And of course, to figure out and look at, again, JRT, that's actually is really useful on especially total pit stop times, because for your pit lane, Jamie Walker had 42.7 seconds in pit lane versus Bobby Terrell's 49.4, so about 7 or so seconds. Going to double check here. Yeah, about 6.7 seconds lost on pit road, at least compared to Jamie Walker. So just from that one little spin, he costed Terrell costed himself about 7 seconds on track, if you will. So maybe he may be able to make it up, but Aaron Bennett, of course, stands in the way of that. As I'm looking for Bennett right now, coming out of turn number 4 is Bennett, and then Jamie Walker in 1st place versus Bobby Terrell was actually just a few seconds behind, 2.4 seconds behind Bennett.
Yeah, and you were talking about Joe Roll timing just a second ago, and I'll give the plug here for him in case anyone is confused about what you're talking about, because Joe Roll Timing is a sponsor of LSRTV and gives coverage to the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series. And basically, if you're behind the sim on the box, or if you're a spotter, Joe Roll Timing can really help you out with the kind of just information that is able to come across the sim. I think you'd be able to speak about it better than me, because I have it downloaded on my computer and I've kind of figured it out, but I don't have it quite done yet. But it is definitely something that can really, like you said, you look at all the information you've got at your disposal right there.
Yeah, really easy. And of course, if you have 1 or 2 or 4 modders, well, actually not 1 modder, but if you have 3 or 4 modders, it's especially useful if you have 4, because you can look at your timing, you can, broadcast timing, or you can try to figure out who has however many laps left. It's like you said, it actually is incredibly useful, because I can see the gap between pretty much everybody right now, or I can see the gap between individual cars. And of course, like I said, pit lane time and pit stop time as well. It's very useful how many pit stops people have made. And looking right now, ironically, everyone has actually made 3 pit stops, unless you're Greg Mall, who has made 4, or Lewis Robinette, who has made 1 pit stop, who's currently out of this race, unfortunately. But nonetheless, Aaron Bennett, 2nd place. Goodness, nearly cutting off Ralph Van der Vorst there. A little bit of a fast run by the looks of that. Jamie Walker also making his way down into turn number 3. So everyone is pretty spread out, and a little bit of a little bit of a gap, if you will. Aaron Bennett 4 seconds behind the leader, and of course Bobby Turrell almost 6 seconds behind the leader. Looks like we actually have a battle, including the number 22.
There's a lot of guys in this area, actually. The 9, yeah. And he's not even with these guys. He's a lap down trying to get out of the way, and I think he actually just tagged the wall. So that's Michael Warren trying to get out of these guys' way. But Robert Yellowwater, Matt Morrow, Michael Priester, they're all in this group right here, trying to just get what they've got out of their strategy. Some of these guys pit earlier, some guys pit later, and you're just kind of see that with the tires, what they're able to do. But realistically, what these guys want to do is get the fastest times, get to the pit road, and then race. Because if they're able to, if Robert Yellowwater is able to get around the 22, he's going to be able to run some of his fastest times he's able to do as he comes up the track just a little bit. He had to get out of the gas. No way he was going to be able to make that. And I think the 5 of Chris Cabot right behind him. That is Chris Cabot, right? Yes, the 5 of Chris Cabot. I've actually memorized these guys. Yes, I finally done it. The 5 of Chris Cabot. He was, he had to get out of the gas, and he had so much momentum coming out of that corner, and that was a real shame for him to have to do that. He finds himself in 14th still, and Robert Yellowwater in front of him, and Matt Mara there, and then you've got Kyle Manger on the outside of Michael Priester here now. It was kind of what brought my eyes to this, was the fact that Manger is trying to continue to this. Manger, he almost got into the 64 right there. 64 got by him that time, but Manger finds himself in a particular situation where he's fairly new, and I don't think he wants to really mess with anybody. He kind of wants to try and get a top 10 if he can here, try and get around Priester and go hunt down Michael Atkins Jr. But this is only his 2nd race. He came and raced last week in Daytona and helped Christian Peterson and get the victory. And of course, remember, Christian Peterson's not here, so that will hurt him in the points. Of course, Christian Peterson's somebody who can kind of try and get that job done when it matters. These guys in the top, the 12, realistically need to keep themselves in mind. They need to be in the top 11 because Christian Peterson will probably get back in. But that is something that they will be able to manage each and every race. And of course, that's if Peterson actually does good when he comes back. So Jamie Walker leads by 3.5 seconds over Aaron Bennett. Bennett still catching him, but he's having to deal with some traffic, including DeMerchant, part of the team, Six Man Inc. team there. And so DeMerchant kind of letting this happen right in front of him, letting 3 get around the lap truck of what looks like it's going to be George Hendricks. So very spread out field right now, not very many battles, but a lot to talk about, a lot of strategies. Still 1 more pit stop to be done. There's no way these guys can make it to the end of this one as they are on laps 36. We got about 38 laps to go.
Lap times, sorry, the laps are closing in. Lap times, though, again, well, actually closing in, especially for Aaron Bennett. He's slowly making that gap up, and oh, I think Aaron Bennett actually tagged the wall coming out of turn number 4. He did. That's going to set him back just a little bit. That had nothing to do with George Hendricks. That was just Aaron Bennett not sure where Hendricks was going to be, but Aaron Bennett probably trying to give a little bit of space, but ended up being too much, and ultimately got the wall out of turn number 4. So that's going to send him back about 4 seconds back right now. So he's got to make that back up, and also don't forget that damage can also play into effect. Maybe a little bit of stern damage. Maybe he got lucky and just scraped some paint. But Bobby Terrell is actually making his way to Aaron Bennett about 4 point. Actually, no, that seems to be incorrect. About 2 seconds off or so, 1.5 seconds by the looks of it. So Terrell, if he can't get a win, then maybe he could get a top 2 at this rate. Me being me, personally, I love comparing lap times, and well, last time around was about 0.4 second difference between Bennett and Terrell, advantage with Terrell. So something that Bennett doesn't want to have happen, but maybe he can make it up in pit road.
Bennett just being basically pretty identical times between those two, and I have to say that dealing with the traffic and hitting the wall, yeah, you're definitely right. I'll have to take a look at the damage here when he comes back this next time by, because I like the booth view. But yeah, he has a good rough up on that right rear, and Bennett being so close to winning so many times. This would be a shame if this is what takes him down and doesn't allow him to win. Jamie Walker's had a lot of glory in this series, and Bennett's had a lot of second places. He's been I'm gonna probably get slapped or punched for saying this, but he's been number 2 as in Austin Powers. He's kind of been number 2 the whole time I've been around and watching the series, and he's really kind of been an opportunity to always get wins. Just has been so close. But I said it as soon as he got the pole, I said he's gonna be probably one of those guys who gets really close to being up there and is just gonna be fall shy. But he's losing some time on Jamie Walker, surprisingly. I don't know if that damage is really affecting him that much, but he fell off another 0.2 of a second the last time by, so I'd have to assume that Bennett is really struggling right now. And sadly, if a caution doesn't come out, I have a feeling that Jamie Walker may be able to pull away with this one. Of course, something like Bobby Terrell's incident could happen again too with anybody in this field, and we haven't seen anything like that happen all season. We've seen guys go through pit stalls, but we haven't seen anyone spin out on the entrance of pit road. And I think Bobby Terrell's really going to try and get this one back, at least try and get the second place position away from Aaron Bennett. Well said and done. And like I said, there's so many things to talk about with these guys coming down pit road one more time, and that being on these guys' mind. I mean, I'm thinking about Formosa. He's still at 4th place. He's doing a great job. And then you've got the 91, John Jenkins. He's having a great race as well. So overall, this race has been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I've been watching the lap times for the past, pretty much ever since Aaron Bennett got to the wall. Jamie Walker has a 33.590 last time around. Aaron Bennett with a 33.515. But Bobby Terrell beats them both with a 33.436. So that time by Aaron Bennett was faster than Jamie Walker, but ultimately Bobby Terrell is faster than Aaron Bennett. But can he catch up to Jamie Walker is the question. He's going to have to make that up in pit road. That's all that these top 3 can do, or anyone else if they can somehow intervene into this. And just focusing on the second and third Aaron Bennett and Bobby Terrell lap times. Bennett with a 33.5, Terrell with a 33.4, so ultimately a 1/10 of a second faster as Terrell. And that's actually a interesting difference, because earlier, before Bennett got into the wall and when Jamie and Terrell were battling, Aaron Bennett was faster than Bobby Terrell, but now the roles are reversed, and of course here comes Joshua Banks to spoil that run just a little bit. Of course, he's also going to play into effect with Bennett as well, so definitely going to be interesting to see. As I'm seeing number 10 of Jeff Ryan has pit stall, so pit stops may be happening for a majority of these drivers in just a few moments.
Yeah, waiting for the leaders to kind of come down and see whenever it's going to be most opportune for them to make their stops, and kind of watching Jimmy Walker to be that guy. But right now he's getting passed by the 25 fairly easily, and man, as a driver, and knowing that you can make it to the end on knowing that you can come down pit road at any time right now and make I see no reason for these guys not to come down pit road, because they can get fresher tires and make it to the end. They're not racing the fuel race at this point. They need to come down and get that done. But right now they're not doing that. So Aaron Bennett still staying out, same as Jamie Walker, and a lot of drivers are a lap down. The top 6 is on the lead lap. Everyone else is a lap down, and while they stay out, I think everyone else is getting a huge advantage on them. I really think that.
Oh, Walker to pit road as well.
So Walker's going to come down pit road, and Aaron Bennett, he will stay out and continue now to lead this race. There's no way he can make it to the end, and I know he says he said in one of his interviews that he likes to stay out, he likes to run it dry, but I have a feeling that if he had pitted earlier, he might have been in better hands, unless he's not fueling this thing up to full. So he might come down this time by. Nope, he's going to still continue to skip pit road, and more laps go. When does the 3 come in? As he's one of the only guys on the lead lap. Actually, he's left the whole field. He's the only driver now that he's passed the 88 on the lead lap. If a caution would come out, this would be entertaining as heck.
Oh yeah, that would be definitely interesting, and I wonder how the field would line up too, but I know only one person will get the wave around.
Single file. They'd line up single file.
Yeah,
the whole field behind Aaron Bennett.
Oh my goodness, that's something that Aaron would want definitely. I believe he's actually trying to stretch this out right now, as officially now everyone is 1 lap down, and oh my goodness, this is quite interesting to see how this plays out. Aaron Bennett probably knows something that we don't. I've said that, I believe, twice right now, but definitely an interesting play on strategy. But Bobby Terrell's actually 5th, 1 lap down, versus Jamie Walker, who's pretty much right behind the leader, about to unlap himself in the easy way. And it's maybe a preview of what could happen. Maybe not. It's just all a matter of time, as Jamie Walker is now the last car on the lead lap in 2nd place. And there's something I never thought I'd say.
35 laps left, and Aaron Bennett needs to come down pit road. Needs to if he's gonna have a shot at winning this race. It's Jamie Walker's race at this point. If this continues the way it does, no caution, no issues with him, it's gonna be his race. So he comes down now, Gary, and it's gonna be it's either gonna be ill-timed, or he's gonna have the best tires and you're gonna be able to sail by everybody. But let's find out. This is really fun to look at, just seeing how many drivers are now getting the lap back. Scott Formosa is getting his lap back, Bobby Terrell, Justin Kleiber, John Jenkins, Michael Atkins Jr. Everyone's getting a lap back, but they're very far behind Jamie Walker. Scott Formosa is 4 seconds behind, and that would put him in 2nd place actually after pit stops, if he's not able to, if Aaron Bennett doesn't continue to lead. So take a look and see where the 88 is. He's actually right here in turn number 1, well in front of the 3 of Aaron Bennett. Not even a chance, I'd say, for the 3 to make this up. It's just too far. So the 3 of Aaron Bennett coming off the apron, or going on to turns 1 and 2. He's going to come off the apron. I think this was a bad decision, but I'm not the driver in the cockpit. We'll have to see as the laps continue to roll on.
Yeah, interesting strategy, but on the bright side for him, at least he's got fresher tires, but he's going to have to make that up as quick as possible. What Aaron Bennett would need right now is a caution, but that's what most of these drivers don't want to see, and one of them being Bobby Terrell. And Scott Formosa is actually in 2nd right now. I don't believe he's actually been a top 3 all night up until now. He did start 7th, so overall, not too bad of a run for Scott Formosa tonight. And that number 80, of course, Bobby Terrell may have something to say about that, as that gap was pretty much under a second between both of them right now. And pretty sure, of course, I'm going to compare lap times here. Scott Formosa with a 32.5 versus Bobby Terrell's 32.4. So again, ultimately a tenth faster is going to be Bobby Terrell, but comparing that to the lead lap, a tenth faster is Jamie Walker. So in terms of lap times, it would be Jamie Walker, Bobby Terrell, and Scott Formosa, and that may be the actual, positions in a few laps.
And Jamie Walker's had a lot of great races that he's been a part of. Going to be lapping 36 of Joshua Banks right here as he comes through turns 1 and 2. And basically all Jamie has to do is round 20 more laps, be consistent, but not have any mistakes. And be lucky enough to not have a caution in the final laps here. But, you know, that's... I think it kind of goes without saying for the fact that these guys have been so consistent just about every single week about cautions. This is pretty much one of the cleanest leagues we see all season round, all year round. You know, I think a few exceptions we've seen. You know, they're definitely human when it comes to racing out here, but it's really fun to watch these guys every Saturday, and seeing that these guys are having a dominant race, dominantly green flag race here is really fun to watch here as Jamie Walker continues to, I'd say, extend his lead. He ran a 32.6. See what he runs this time. He's going to run a 32.5, so a little bit of an improvement. And then the 80 of Scott Formosa, he's going to run a 32.7. So he actually ran a little bit faster that time than him. Actually, sorry, slower. Ran a little bit slower that time. And so Jamie Walker, he's got a fast hooked up truck tonight.
Yeah, the gap that time increased by 0.2 of a second from 5.4 to 5.6. So, of course, I'm expecting that to have the same increase this time by Jamie Walker coming across the start-finish line now. Just as a little bit of a reference, as I'm hoping this goes focused on Formosa. And then the gap has increased, I believe, yep, 5.8 seconds. But the gap that's been relatively the same, though, is with Bobby Terrell, 6.1 seconds. And more specifically 6.191, so overall 6.2 if you're someone that likes to round numbers. But ultimately, Bobby Terrell is going to pass Scott Formosa in just a few moments, and there's pretty much no closer battle. And actually, right when I say that, I see in the lap times, I see something otherwise, as the closest battle, I believe, would be between Bob Gillenwater for 10th and 11th Michael Priester. And that's actually pretty much it. They're both surrounded by lap cars, and probably going to be trying to make moves once they get clear of this, if they can. But
you're kind of reading my mind here, because I was thinking the same thing. I started watching this battle about a lap ago. So you were definitely on the same page as I was here, as Michael Priester and the 68. I also got to say that Scott Simley had a received throughput fell, which is really stinks for him. I know he's trying to keep it standing in the points pretty good, but he's trying to get around these guys. He's got new tires and a good race car that's all tricked out because his paint scheme is new. I haven't seen that paint scheme on his truck before, but those guys in front of him, yeah, it's a good battle to watch between Priester and Gillenwater. And Gillenwater's had some good races this season. This might be one of his better ones if he's able to hold on to the top 10 and seeing where he falls in point standings. And he's 14th right now. And his best finish this season is 5th. And so this would fit right in his 3rd best finish of the season if he's able to stand right there in the top 10. So we got about 14 laps left. Jamie Walker continues to lead with a 6.2 lead. And then we're going to have to talk about the battle for second here, because the number 80 of Scott Formosa, he's getting passed by on the inside with a 14 right now, actually. So really quick to say it, but 14 of Bobby Terrell after the mistake on pit road. One of the fastest trucks on the speedway trying to get 2nd place back.
Yeah, he was looking to the inside, didn't have the momentum that time by, but ultimately as these two battle, looking once again at JRT, again, it's really useful to be honest. Everything's in real time, and it's very, so much better than just looking at static times, but static times can actually show something that you can't really see on JRT sometimes unless you look hard enough. And oh man, almost on the back bumper was Terrell, but Terrell got there the last time around. That last one lap ago, he got there, but he didn't have the momentum. He has to get there again, but actually Formosa's protecting that bottom lane right there, so really smart move actually by Formosa, protecting that bottom lane and That's actually the preferred line, unless you're Bobby Terrell. Then in that case, you just said run the high line and see if anything works there. And it does. He does get a momentum boost coming down off into the inside. Driver's left side of Formosa, side by side into turn number 3. It's going to be Terrell nearly making contact, about a foot, 2 feet between them. And off the corners, heading into, or past the start finish line, it's going to be Scott Formosa that time by, but that's just by about 0.2 of a second, 0.02. And again, side by side, again, really making contact. These two trying to outshine each other, outdo each other, outperform. But Bobby Terrell coming out of turn number 2 with the momentum, almost clears Scott Formosa. He does in the middle of the back straightaway, heading to turn 3. Formosa going to try and do as much as he can, get that second place position back. But looking back at the lot of times that we've seen this past few laps, it's ultimately it's going to be Bobby Terrell's second place finish.
Yeah, and under 10 laps to go, it's with the way it's going, like just kind of you're talking about, Bobby Terrell's got the fresher tires, and despite him having the issue on pit road, he was able to save and maneuver his way back up to second place. And I think it's a big misfortune for him. So he'll have to finish second one more time this season if the race goes like it is. But this is still a really good race for him. I mean, he's still in a really good standing in the points position, and this will be another top 5 for him. It'll be his 4th top 5 if he's able to finish there. And Jamie Walker will get a second win if he's able to continue as well. And Walker's on the back straightaway where no one else is, which these Bobby Terrell just now got to the back straightaway. And you've got, I think, as Scott Formosa, you've got to think of this as a race that can really build upon another race, because looking at him, Scott Formosa is in 9th place in points, and his average finish is really good. I mean, his average finish is just sub 15, and he's finished 3rd, finished 4th, finished 5th a couple times. This will be another really good finish for him, and could really put him in a good position to just ride along and get good finishes for the chase. So running the laps down, Jim Walker is 6.8 seconds in front of Bobby Terrell. Only 16 cars on the lead lap. Brian Cutts is the last driver on that lead lap, and he is going to be lapped pretty soon by the number 88 of Jamie Walker. And I think the only question we have now about the end of this race is anybody going to have fuel problems? Is anybody going to have any issues making it to the end of the race because of that? And I have to say no, because Jamie Walker is still running quicker times than everybody. So I think fuel's not an issue for Walker, and I think he should be able to run, should be able to seal the deal here in just about 6 laps.
And Aaron Bennett making his move on John Jenkins coming out turn number 4. Aaron Bennett is going to cross the line in 4th place, but John Jenkins hanging on to that outside lane in that number 91, trying to do all they can to at least get an extra position aside from rounding out the top 5. But nonetheless, at this rate, he will be getting a top 5 finish, as yeah, he will head to the inside. All right, I was thinking he was going to stay behind Bennett, but that didn't happen. He did for a moment, but not anymore. So middle turn 3 and 4, and it's going to be Bennett with the advantage. A good run coming out of the corner, and Jenkins making sure that he is clear to come behind, and Bennett just all over, trying to pretty much all over compared to John Jenkins' line. It was just solid and trying to figure out where Bennett's going to go. Decided not to follow Bennett below. So of course right now your top 5 is going to be Jamie Walker, Bobby Terrell, Scott Formosa, Aaron Bennett, and John Jenkins. As well, Jamie Walker's coming down the start-finish line right now. 3 laps to go for Walker, and if this rate for caution comes out, the race is pretty much over. But pretty much actually the only 2 drivers that have started outside the top 5 and are finishing in the top 5. Scott Formosa started 7th, currently 3rd, and John Jenkins started 6th, currently 5th. So not too bad of performance by everyone tonight. Only 1 caution about lap 15, and definitely amazing. And I'm going to call it right now. Jamie Walker's going to be walking away with the win. Actually, Scott Formosa has dropped way off compared to Bobby Terrell's lap time, because a few laps to go, he was right behind Terrell. So maybe Formosa is having, like you said, Austin, he's probably having some fuel problems, and he's trying to save just to get to the end of the race, as we have as we're actually closing in on 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things about saving fuel is that you've got to look at your distance between the guys behind you, and he's got a long ways to go. If he has to save, he knows he can do it. He knows that he needs to run pretty low on the track. Just let the throttle out pretty easy, or get in the throttle pretty easy on the exit of the corner. I don't know if he is, but he does not have the tires to catch Bobby back. It's kind of too late anyways, because we have 2 laps to go, and if he's able to just, navigate the rest of the way on the bottom of the track, he should be pretty good here, and I don't think Aaron Bennett's got the truck to beat him, but Jenkins and Bennett, this will be a good fight to watch here, as I think Jenkins will just come up short to Bennett, as they ran pretty identical times. But as we hit the white flag, Jamie Walker, he will cross the start-finish line, and all he'll need to do is navigate 2 more corners, or 4 more corners, 2 more turns. He's going to have to get around Matt Mara. Should let him by fairly easily here in the next turn. And Jamie Walker, very, very solid performance by him. He's going to have a 7-second lead above Bobby Terrell before this one's over. And he's going to come out of turn number 4 and win again in the United Sim Racing Bean Landscaping Truck Series here at Kentucky. After 134 laps of competition, he gets the job done in that Mountain Dew Chevrolet. Congratulations to Jamie Walker on getting it done.
And of course, the battle for 4th is now over. Aaron Bennett gets that 4th and 5th place position, goes to John Jenkins, and of course, 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 57.193 seconds for Jamie Walker after starting 2nd, finishes in 1st, and like I said, amazing performance, but even better for Bobby Terrell to come back from pretty much about a 7-second error just from spinning to the entry of pit road, and he comes home in 2nd. Not the position that he wanted, because he most definitely wanted that 1st place position, but nonetheless, Jamie Walker is your winner in that number 88 machine, and definitely amazing performance as he's going to burn it down here on the apron at Kentucky.
It would have been fun to see what Bobby Terrell had, but that's why they call it racing. I think I said that the last race I commentated, but that's why they call it racing. There's a lot of aspects to racing, and pit road is definitely one of them. So Bobby Terrell, he'll have to sadly have to hold this one up in the air and say, you know what, I still had a great finish and got 2nd place still after having a spin out. So still a good finish for him. Jamie Walker's really excited to win another one. I'll have to find out how many all-time wins he's got, because I went to go to the page earlier and sadly wasn't there. So we'll take a look at your full field rundown as Jamie Walker just absolutely is going to burn the tires off. So he wins the race. Bobby Terrell will finish in the 2nd position. Scott Formosa, he finishes 3rd after starting 7th. Aaron Bennett went from pole to 4th, another top 5 for him. Then John Jenkins, he'll finish 5th. Good battle for him. And then you've got Michael Atkins Jr. goes from 11th to 6th. And then Justin Michael goes from 12th to 7th. Tim Matthews goes from 15th to 8th. And you've got Robert Gilwater finishing 9th. And Kyle Manger finishes 10th.
Finishing 11th is going to be James Nunn after unfortunately starting 4th. Or fortunately starting 4th, but he's unfortunately going to finish in 11th. Michael Priester, amazing performance, and along with Greg Mall, they started 23rd and 22nd respectively, finishing 12th and 13th. Matt Mara, 1 position lost overall, finishing 14th as the last driver on the lead lap, and begin the string of lap or more down drivers. From 15th to 23rd, we have the drivers that are 1 lap down, starting with Chris Gabot. Brian Cutts finishing in 16th, 17th goes to George Hendricks, 18th is Joshua Banks, 19th is going to be Ralph van der Vorsta, and riding at the top 20 is going to be Randy Yoakum.
Finishing 21st is Jeff Ryan, and David Herring will finish 22nd. Dwayne Dunn, 23rd. Seth the Merchant will finish 2 laps down to 24th. John Wilco will finish 25th. 26th finishes Michael Warren. And Justin Clapper, who finishes 4 laps down. Scott Simley finishes 28th, 5 laps down. Then Rich Jetty and Lewis Robinette were not able to finish the race 29th and 30th tonight. So that's been a look at your full field results, and we'll take a moment and we'll talk your top 3. Walker, Terrell, Formosa here in just a little bit. You've been watching LSRTV's coverage of the BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series here with United Sim Racing here at Kentucky.
When I was 16 years old, I was working in a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. Well, that was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 you know, dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to, you know, experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
Welcome back to the Kentucky Speedway, as we have a winner tonight. That winner is Jamie Walker, and we will talk to him in victory lane. Jamie, you got the job done. 7 seconds almost above Bobby Terrell. What was the difference between you tonight and getting the victory for you and your team?
Mistakes. I hear there was a lot of mistakes made by a lot of other people, and I just happen to be mistake-free tonight.
Well, Jamie, it's good to see you up front again. I think we've seen some good races from you this season, and through the time that I've been with you guys, that you've had some close races, you had some good races, and this one, and I think you put it well. You know, no mistakes. It was definitely one of those races I'd say was flawless for you and you guys. And was there anything in particular that you guys did different tonight, or was it just kind of a game as usual for you? And talk about that long green flag run too.
Truthfully, it was just, I drove my race. I didn't want to race anybody else, put anybody else in any kind of harm, and put myself in any kind of harm, and it kind of worked out. As far as that green flag run, I was learning the whole time. After me and Bobby, they were racing a little there, I'd jump in behind him and kind of learn what he was doing, and I was able to, you know, at least stay up with him and learn from what he was doing, and after he had his little mistake, I was basically doing what he did, and I was pulling away.
Well, Jamie, this only helps your bid to stay in the chase, and I know for you, your teammates, you're trying to help yourself out, trying to help Greg a little bit if you can, and basically, you guys are pretty locked in. And I think the last time I looked, you're still no. This is gonna help you with the lead, of course. You're gonna stay there for a little bit while longer. As Aaron Bennett's also in, Justin Michael, you three are right up there. Anything that's going to change between now and the end of the season for you guys, or is it kind of just going to be game as normal?
As far as points right now, it's anybody's game, because they get reset here in a couple more weeks, and that's when their work has to be put on the table there, and that's where I got my work cut out.
All right, Jamie, it's good to see you in victory lane again. And before we let you go, who makes it happen for you in the 88 machine?
Well, everybody down there at BNC Lawn and Landscaping, my teammates, Young Gun Motorsports, they do an awesome job. You guys up here in the booth, it's been awesome talking with you, Austin. It's been a while. I usually get pushed around to the other people. I just thanks to God for putting me here.
All right, there you have it. Jamie Walker gets another victory on the season, twice a victor in the series this year. It's been a good one this race, and so we'll throw it down to Gary. He'll catch out with Bobby Terrell, who this will be an interesting one here for you, Gary.
Well, Bobby Terrell, you finished in second place, and ultimately really amazing job, because you spun out entering pit road, and then you somehow managed to make your way back up to second place, only 7 seconds behind Jamie Walker. And oh my goodness, how did you do that, for stars? I mean, I don't mean spinning out pit road, I mean making your way back up to second place.
Well, I mean, I had me and Jamie was talking about it. I was a little better the last 10 laps of the run, and I had a good truck. And I mean, I feel like I gave it away, I knew when I was coming to pit road, I was thinking I was too hot, and I was looking at the replay, and I was doing 54 mile an hour when he hit the line, so I knew I had to do something, and I locked it up, and of course it spun me around and did a donut and continued on. But I, charged my way back up to second. Aaron had a little trouble, but it was a good race. I can't complain. If I hadn't have made that mistake on pit road, it'd been a good race between Jamie and me and Aaron Scott.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping for, and unfortunately it didn't happen, but fortunately only one caution. So how were those, how'd that pit strategy go for you? How were those tires handling and fuel run, and pretty much just trying to make your way around this track? Because it was definitely really interesting. We've seen a little bit of 3 wide and battles all over the place. Yeah,
I mean, Kentucky's always been a good track for me. I don't know why. I've always been good at saving my stuff here, and it's just, I really like the track a lot. And lap traffic was a little hard to get through, and then of course guys pitted sometimes with fresher tires, and I let them go, and overall it was a fun race. Me and Jamie had a great battle there at the first of the race, and then I battled with Scott a little bit, and Aaron, we never really got close to each other. We were close a few times, but it was mainly me and Jamie and Scott. But it was a good race. I can't complain.
Well, it's definitely going to help you out in the point standings. You came in 7th, 82 points away from Jamie Walker, who of course extends that lead, but you're just getting a little bit closer to that points lead as well. I believe maybe about 40 or so points behind, maybe 50. I'm not 100% sure, but good luck to you on that. Of course, before I let you go, any sponsors, friends, or families, or shout-outs that you'd like to have for the people that make it happen for you?
Well, I mean, of course, always you guys for doing this. It's a lot of work. I know it is. And Aaron and all the guys that help out over at USR. I mean, it couldn't do it without them. And then my teammate, Scott Simley, us working together, good together on pits and stuff like that. Big shout out to him. And then, shout out to all the guys that we were racing out there, and it was clean. And it was fun.
No, it's definitely exciting. Congratulations on your second place finish, and good luck to you for next week's race.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was Bobby Terrell finishing second, and Austin has finally managed to catch up with Scott Formosa.
Yeah, catching up with Scott Formosa, you finished third tonight, and I'll tell you, this is a really good race for you. Looking at the point standings and looking at every race that matters, and for you in particular, you've got yourself in 9th place before this, and 3rd place tonight really helps you. This is your 3rd best finish this season, and only finishes like this are going to keep you in the chase. And talk to us about your race, and talk to us about what this means for you going forward and end of the season.
It was a good, solid run tonight. I had one mistake on pit road tonight. I overshot my pit box a little bit and had to back up. And you absolutely cannot make any mistakes in this league to have any kind of a shot. But, I mean, overall, I'm happy with a 3rd. I mean, to be up there running with Jamie Walker and Bobby and Aaron and them, man, that's huge, because last year I don't think I could run with them, and I'm making gains. You know, I'm not there yet, but I'm making gains, and that's all I can ask for at this point.
Yeah, and I noticed that your average start and average finish is actually the same, which I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I'm looking at Dan Laser right now, and it says you've got a 14.86, which is going to, of course, improve, especially on the finish side, which is the way you want it to be. And the more I see you race in this series, I definitely can agree with you that you're getting a leg up over the rest of the guys, and taking it towards the front a little bit more. And is it something that you're noticing every race, or is it kind of something you've just noticed like recently, that you're kind of starting to get something on your back to kind of propel you in these races?
Well, up until the last 2 races, I've gotten wrecked or something. But before that, I think I had 2 top 5s and a top 10. So it's been pretty good this year. I'm stringing together some pretty good finishes here. I got to get a win, though. I mean, these top 2 and 3s are fine, but man, I want to win. That's what it's all about.
Of course, there's no doubt, and I think you, of a lot of other people, have been close. You, Bobby Terrell, Aaron Bennett, you guys have been really close. Aaron Bennett's already won this season. Why does he need another win, right, Scott? But we've seen how close you guys have been on a number of occasions, and I think I said it about Aaron Bennett a lot, and I think we'll be saying it about you and Bobby a lot, is the fact that you guys are there. It's only a matter of time before we see you there.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so, because this 3rd place is fine, but man, you want to be sitting over there where Jamie is tonight.
Well, Scott, before we let you go, you know how the drill goes. Shout out sponsors who makes it happen for you.
Yeah, of course, KBB, KellyBlueBook.com is the main sponsor, County Line Motors. And I want to thank GRF Racing. That's Bob Gillen, Water Chris Dubois, and Louis Robinette and myself. We formed a team at the beginning of this season, and I want to thank those guys. I want to thank you guys for the job y'all do broadcasting these things. I want to thank Aaron and all the guys over at USR. They do a terrific job over there. But that's the way it goes. Top 3, I'll take it though. But other than that, man, that's I'm happy.
We'll let you go, Scott. Good luck in the races in the future, and we'll see you next week.
All right, bud. Thanks.
All right, Gary, we've got another race under our belts, and it's time to go to the next one. Next week's USA, and it's going to be completely different than Kentucky.
I'm hoping I get to see that race. Goodness, that is that's interesting. I've never seen trucks at USA, so definitely something that I hope to commentate, but definitely going to play a huge factor because the trucks have never really gotten the chance to go there in person. But on the bright side, for iRacing, you can definitely have races that you never think would actually happen in real life, and sometimes they do, sometimes it never happens, but that's why you have iRacing. And oh boy, USA with the trucks, I'm definitely going to be entertained by that.
We did have Lucas Oil earlier in the season, and I'll have to say quite brutally honestly that they've had better races. But I think if they learn anything from Lucas Oil, they'll come to USA, heads on a swivel, ready to go. And I think we're going to be in a treat for that one. They'll have to make their own custom setup because this is a fixed league, as we've known for the seasons. All these seasons that we cover are fixed, and for these guys coming to USA, they'll have to practice a lot. They'll have to get really used to what they're dealing with. So really fun to watch and to observe as these guys do battle at a track that's I'm pretty sure is no longer in existence. So as we run down tonight's show, congratulations to Jamie on his victory tonight, and from all of us here in the booth. If you want to keep on, if you want to keep up on anything and everything LSRTV, go to livesimracing.com. You can check out our whole schedule. It's right there on the front page. We'll have Icebreaker finale, I'm pretty sure, on Monday, and then we'll have Wednesday night as usual, which is the I'm losing off the top of my head, the CEA weekly deal, and then we've got a lot of other series as well throughout the season. So from all of us tonight, we thank you for showing up and having a great time with us, and we will see you all at the next track, which is USA International.